Stay tuned and let's take a look at this Marvel Legends Space Knight Venom and Mania 2-pack. Ciao and welcome back to the channel, Dan Who Reviews. As always, my name is Dan W. Make sure you are following me on Instagram at It's Dan Who, and remember now you can hit that join button and become a channel member as well. Either show some love or join the members club. Much appreciated. Today we are taking a look at this Marvel Legends 2-pack with Space Knight Venom and Mania. Now, of course, Venom is a re-release of the 2016 Build-A-Figure, but it has been 7 full years, so I'm sure there's lots of collectors out there that would appreciate the opportunity to pick this guy up. And if you do already have that Build-A-Figure, then they're trying to tempt you with some new accessories, which we will look at today. But something nobody has in their collection is, of course, Mania, as this is the first time we have gotten her in the Marvel Legends line. And of course, there is a connection between these two characters, which I will explain. So here we have the packaging, boring plastic free, logo up top, images on the side, on the back some more digital renders with a look at those additional accessories. No bio though, but don't worry, as I said, I'll explain. So let's waste no time, get it open. Here we have both Space Knight Venom and Mania out of the packaging with their accessories, and as you can see, unfortunately Mania comes with absolutely nothing, which is a missed opportunity for an interchangeable head with a more venomized tongue out expression, and at the bare minimum some interchangeable hands. So that's disappointing. And of course Space Knight Venom is a re-release of the Build-A-Figure, but we do have these additional accessories that we never got before. So now if you have the previous one, it gives you a few display options. But for many, the main event may be adding a brand new character to your Venomized Spider-Verse. That is, of course, Mania. So in case you don't know who she is, let's look at her first, and let me try and give you some details. Mania is Andi Benton. She was a student of Flash Thompson who was attacked by Jack-O-Lantern. Flash gave her what he thought was a piece of the Venom symbiote to protect her. She bonded with it, embraced its power, and became Mania. It ended up being a piece of a clone with the hallmark attached, slowly corrupting Andi, giving her a bloodlust. Andi definitely falls into the anti-hero category, as she does bad things, but for the right reasons. At some point, Flash does come back down to Earth, though, and remove the Venom symbiote from her, but she was one of a few female characters running around with a symbiote on Earth for a while, so it will be a nice addition to the collection, as this is the only time we have ever gotten her, and I think they've done a pretty good job representing that in plastic. I do think they've missed an opportunity with not giving us an interchangeable head with the Venomized look, as I've already mentioned, but what they have given us is a pretty solid representation of her in a more neutral expression. I think she's going to pose up and pair up really well with Agent Venom, more so than Space Knight Venom, which we will look at in a minute. But we have her Sonic style haircut, very punk rocket inspired, of course, as she's got the 3 spikes one side, and you can see one of the spikes is sort of flat down to the side of her head, which is sculpted. Otherwise, it's done in a very matte, flat black and white, so any blemishes with the paint you would notice straight away, but I think they've done a decent job here. Head is on a disc and hinge, so she will look back and will look forward really far as well. Limited articulation on the waist though, but looking at the paint, as I said, they've done a good job. The spider is nice and clean on the front, and if I lift the arms up, you can see it goes all the way under the arms and around to the back as well. Nice and clean, no issues with the deco there. You can see double jointed pinless elbows and double jointed pinless knees, and you'll notice as well on the shin pads on the front, you've got all those sculpted spikes, and you've got that sort of metallic purple flare shining there under the lights, and the same is on the wrists as well. Very nicely done. Nice bit of contrast to the black and white. Lots of spikes all over her, as I said, very punk inspired. She's got that separate belt piece with all the spikes on there, and then she's even got these separate sort of wrists, sort of cuffs, which again, if you take the hands off, you'd be able to remove them. They're a separate piece, which do give it a bit more punk styling. But let's look at the articulation with the arms all the way up to 90, bicep swivel and double jointed. They'd go even further if she didn't have the sculpted spikes on the wrists, but all in all, she's looking very good. And there you get one sort of hand with a sort of gesturing venomized claws, and this hand's more of a closed grip. Again, no interchangeable hands, but they are flat black, so maybe you could find a few in your collection you could swap on here, but for a sort of just standard look, I guess that's what they're going for. And again, down to the legs go well that far out, double jointed pinless knees, but she has got the thickness of the calf, so they go about that far. There is a cut for the thigh, of course. Legs go out about that far as well. Ankle pivot and rock out. And she's wearing like these big, thick, as I said, punk style boots, as you can see. But they have got the pivot and all that good stuff. And there's a better look at the spikes with the metallic flare, looking very nice. So yeah, Andi, all in all, is a nice representation of her character, just lackluster with accessories, but as a standard look, it is a nice addition to the collection for sure. As I said, we don't have too many female symbiote characters, but here we have a couple from the Future Life Foundation. It is, of course, Scream and Agony, who are both on a more adult body, but you can see Andi's not much shorter than them, to be honest. Scream's on an older female body, Agony's on the more improved Shriek female body, so she is also double jointed and pinless, but it's nice to have another female edition. Now, this is the comparison I was most interested in seeing. It is, of course, Mania compared to Flash Thompson, but in his Agent Venom form. This would have made more sense for a two-pack pairing, as this is how Flash appeared when Mania was created. And of course, we also need an updated version of this character design. This is a solid looking character design, but the figure is a little outdated and articulation's a little bit clumsy. So I would like an upgraded version of Agent Venom, and I think these two are going to pair up very nicely on the shelf. Now, of course, Flash and Andi have that relationship, so he does come back down from space to remove the Venom symbiote. So there are panels shared in the comics with Space Knight Venom and Mania, but I think these two would have made more sense. And while I've got weapons on the table, I wanted to just see if Mania would hold a gun that I've just stole from Flash. And she will hold it, but the grip is very loose in the hand. But you can get the finger in the trigger as well. Moving on to Space Knight Venom. Now, as I've already said multiple times, this is an exact re-release of the previous Build-A-Figure. Now, I don't have that figure anymore, but I'll throw up a side-by-side comparison of some images, and you can see they're exactly the same, even down to the deco. It is after the events of Agent Venom. Flash Thompson goes off to space, becomes the agent of the cosmos, ambassador of Earth, and joins the Guardians of the Galaxy. That's why you have the Guardians logo on both of the shoulders here. I will zoom in and show you that, but first let me get the tape measure out in case you don't have the previous one. He stands at 7¾ inches tall, and to be honest, it is a solid representation of this version of Flash Thompson with the Venom symbiote. So let's zoom in. This is the same head we've gotten with the Build-A-Figure in the past. It is Space Knight Venom in his more neutral look. You can see it's a little bit more armoured, and you can see the yellow eyes slowly glaring through there, and there is some yellow paint on both of those eyes. They're just hidden under the sculpted lip of this sort of venomized helmet. But you've got the white paint on there. He's got like the long chin sticking out, but it is an accurate look from the comics. So that is that. We've already seen this before. It's on a disc and hinge, so you can get him burying his big chin, and you can get him looking up a little bit as well, to be fair, but no pivot. But you have got side to side. So there's the standard head we have already gotten. But with this, for the first time, we have this alternative, more expressive Venomized look with all the Venom teeth on show. You've got the pink outline of the gums, and the eyes are wider now, so you see the yellow a lot more, and they're not hidden underneath that sculpted lip. So a lot more expressive this head sculpt is for our Space Knight Venom. Still got the white and black, still with a sculpted detail and the same range of articulation, to be fair, looking up and down with the swivel. But yeah, if we compare the two head sculpts, you now have options for your Space Knight Venom, and if you already have the Build-A-Figure, at least you can display this one a little bit differently. Keeping this head sculpt on, just to look at the rest of the body, the spider logo in white is sculpted on there, and it is cleanly done as well, with some sculpted lines on the sort of neck as well. Spinning it around to the back, they didn't skimp. It is still sculpted and painted very cleanly as well. And when you articulate him, the design does continue more crunch forward than back. You can hear the ratchets clicking, but yeah, more crunch forward than back. If I zoom out, you can see the arms are limited, but they're not really, because you can tuck in the shoulder, so it will go all the way up to 90. Bicep swivel, single jointed elbow, and there is a hinge on the wrist as well. And you can see there is white paint on the palm of the hands, on the forearms, and then up on the shoulder. But what I like on the shoulder is you actually get the Guardians of the Galaxy logo, as Flash does join the Guardians on some adventures while he's in space. So that is in a blue decal, if it will focus for me, on both shoulders as well. So yeah, white, black, and a little bit of blue. Moving down to the legs, all black with a little bit of white on the outside of the back, and then down on the feet as well. You can see he does have the pins in the arms and legs. It is a 7-year-old figure at this point. Double jointed knees that go up to about that far, ankle pivot rocker, and there is a thigh cut as well. Legs go forward quite a bit though, and they go out okay as well, to be fair, and then you get the swivel at the waist. So for a 7-year-old Build-A-Figure, it still holds up, and it is a decent representation of the character. He's big, he's imposing, and I've sold my Build-A-Figure, so I'm happy at the re-release here. But he does come with a bit more. You get these thick symbiote claws, which are very big and clunky, and these will wrap around the wrists or maybe the forearms and add some additional spikes and weaponry to our Space Knight Venom. Now, we never got these with the previous Build-A-Figure. Let me bring him back in, and he's already got those hands with the claws, so he's still quite expressive like that. Would have been nice to have some fisted hands as well, if I'm being greedy. But let's attach these onto the hands. So again, I could take the hands off, and these just literally hook around the wrists and the forearms like so. Here we have the claws on the hands like that. That is how it works. This one is quite thick, and to be honest, my Venom's a bit loose, so like he can't really hold the pose without that dropping down, which is a little bit unfortunate. See how it just droops? So we can't really hold the pose. So I don't know if it's just mine that's a little bit loose. If you get yours, let me know what you think. It is hollow on the inside, so it's not like a big chunky piece of plastic. It is hollow. It's still big and chunky, but it shouldn't be too heavy. The arm can't hold its weight. But that's how it works anyway. You clip it on the forearm by taking the hand off, like this one. This one's a little bit smaller and lighter, so that one works a little bit nicer. But again, it creates some posing options, but honestly, I don't really like them. They're a bit too big and chunky, and yeah, I can't get them posed up good enough with them. So maybe we can use them with another Venom. Here we have the comic Venom we got in the Null 2-pack. This is based off the movie body, of course, but it still works really nice. And yeah, the spike does work, but I've had to clip it to further up the forearm because obviously he's not as thick as the Space Knight Venom. But yeah, I think you could maybe use these with some other Venom figures in your collection. But again, you'll just have to finagle it to make it work. But add some variety maybe. I just don't like them. And here we have that exact Venom next to our Space Knight Venom. And as you can see, that shows you how tall that guy is, because he's nearly as big as this Build-A-Figure. Probably about the same size if I straightened him out. But there you go. Here we have our two versions of Flash Thompson with the Venom symbiote. We have Agent Venom and Space Knight Venom. And as I already mentioned, we need a new version of this one, please, Hasbro. Some more height comparisons with another Marvel Legends Venom, and then we have the symbiote Spider-Man. And here we have Riot, who is of course based off the body of Monster Venom. We have gotten a couple of times, both deluxe and Build-A-Figure, and he is just as big as Space Knight Venom, but he's just a little bit more broader, a little bit thicker, but they are about the same height, to be honest. Bringing back in Mania for these last few comparisons, here we have Carnage and the Renew Your Vows Spider-Man. Here we have Typhoid Mary, as she has got a bit of punk styling to her, but I basically wanted to bring in Jack-O-Lantern because he is partly the reason that Andi gets this in the first place, as he attacks her. So if you want to do some ACBA, then you definitely want to get these two posed up, as she does go back after Jack-O-Lantern. But this figure is built off a very old, outdated, gangly body, and the character design is so cool, he is worthy of a revisit and a redesign. So yeah, we need a new Jack-O-Lantern, please, but we do have one for these two to be posed up together. And finally, we have the Who crew with Frogman, Tigra, and what? Wait a minute. White Rabbit, you're out of here. Get out of here. You got voted out by the live stream. We have a new member. Let me introduce to you Jocasta. Jocasta, do you have anything to say?
Bye-bye, White Rabbit. Back down the rabbit hole you go.
That's right. Good riddance to that pesky rabbit. And Jocasta will be reading out comments from the comment section on future videos. So make sure you leave a nice comment and it may be read out. And last but not least, Captain Britain and Hal, Fire, Hank. So, final thoughts on this Marvel Legends Space Knight Venom and Mania 2-pack. As always, I think it's nice to add brand new characters to the Marvel Legends line, and that's exactly what we can do with Mania. It's a solid representation of the character, and it is on a completely pinless Marvel Legend based body. It is just lackluster with accessories, if I had to pick a fault. And Space Knight Venom, it is what it is. It is a re-release of the previous Build-A-Figure, so it's an opportunity for people to backtrack and get that character if they missed out the first time round. So it is up to you. You let me know what you think in the comments below as always. But hopefully this video helped you make up your mind. And if you like Marvel Legends, then please, you're in the right place. Check out the videos tab, find the playlists and the podcasts, and please, please, please hit that subscribe button. Hit all in the notification bell. Don't miss out on the video. And please hit that join button. Become a channel member. Either show some love or join the members club. Much, much appreciated. You can follow me on Instagram at It's Dan Who. I'm on Twitter at Dan Who Reviews. And remember, leave a comment below as the caster's gonna pick one and read it on the next review. It could be you, all right? I'll see you on the next one.